Welcome to this explainer on the Antikythera Mechanism. Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to imagine descending into the dark, crushing depths of the Mediterranean Sea. There are no lights down there, just the eerie shadows of a merchant ship that sank well over 2 millennia ago. And it was right down there in the dark that one of the most literally impossible discoveries in human history was actually made. 2000. For over 2,000 years, this heavily corroded, totally unassuming lump of bronze just sat there, completely hidden underwater. It was quietly guarding a secret that would eventually force us to rewrite the entire history of human engineering. I mean, it's absolutely mind-blowing when you think about it.
Part 1. The Impossible Ancient Machine, a 1900 sponge diver discovery.
So back in 1900, a group of Greek sponge divers were seeking shelter from this violent sea storm, and they just happened to stumble upon an ancient shipwreck. Among all these magnificent marble statues, luxury glassware, and ancient coins, they hauled up this one heavily calcified green lump of metal. But as researchers later began to carefully clear away centuries of saltwater corrosion, they found something shocking. Dozens of precisely arranged, interlocking gear teeth. It forced this staggering question: how on earth did an ancient civilization build a computer? Because this wasn't just some static statue. It was a complex mechanical anomaly that, according to traditional history anyway, simply shouldn't have existed for at least another 1,000 years. No way, right?
Section 2. A computer made of bronze. Mathematics transformed into metal.
These ancient engineers had quite literally transformed abstract mathematics into physical metal. You see, this device didn't just passively display a picture of the sky, it actively calculated it. It was basically a bronze brain designed to compute the cosmos. And this brilliantly illustrates the massive conceptual leap we need to make today. When we hear the word computer, we immediately think of electricity, right? Silicon chips, digital screens. But a computer, at its very core, is really just a device that processes information according to a set of rules. The ancient approach used manual cranks, bronze gears, and engraved dials, so this was an analog computer. It took an input, in this case time, driven by the turn of a hand crank, and mechanically processed it to produce complex outputs, all without needing a single drop of electricity.
It all comes down to this really brilliant concept: gears as equations made from bronze. Instead of doing complex math on parchment, these ancient engineers used different gear ratios to translate astronomical cycles into physical motion. Think about it like this. If a gear with 20 teeth turns a gear with 40 teeth, you've just created a mathematical ratio of motion. By stacking these precisely cut gears on top of each other, they could represent complex, long-term cycles of time literally right there in the palm of your hand. It's like a giant puzzle, perfectly fitted together.
Part 3. Modeling the Cosmos, a miniature universe in a box.
So, let's open this puzzle box up. Just check out this phenomenal list of capabilities. The mechanism tracked the exact position of the sun along the zodiac. It represented the changing phases of the moon. Astonishingly, it even modeled the moon's irregular orbit. It predicted terrifying solar and lunar eclipses, synchronized wildly different solar and lunar calendars, and, get this, it even timed the Olympic Games. The front and back dials worked together in total harmony to form a complete, working mechanical universe. But let's pause for a second and look at how they solve what we can call the moon problem. Because honestly, this is where their engineering genius truly shines. Step 1. The moon actually has an elliptical orbit around the Earth. Because of this, step 2, its apparent speed across our sky varies. Sometimes it looks like it's moving faster, sometimes slower. Now, if you just connect a simple gear to a dial, it turns at a constant uniform speed. So step 3, how on earth do you fix that mechanically? Well, the ancient engineers used an offset pin and slot gear. They put a pin from one gear into a slot on another gear slightly off-center. As the handle was turned, the output speed would speed up and slow down, perfectly simulating the variable speed of the real moon in the sky. I mean, absolute brilliance.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the Saros cycle. This is an astronomical period of approximately 18 years and 11 days. After this cycle completes, the exact geometry of the Sun, Moon, and Earth essentially resets, which means eclipse patterns repeat. The large spiral dial on the back of this machine mapped this cycle perfectly. And remember, in the ancient world, an eclipse wasn't just a cool astronomical event, it was terrifying. The sun suddenly disappearing, that could challenge the whole natural order. Imagine the immense political and psychological power granted to whoever controlled this machine. They could accurately forecast the darkening of the sky years in advance. Talk about a real game changer.
Then we have the calendar problem, which was solved by the Metonic cycle. Think about it. Lunar months just don't divide evenly into a solar year. If you only follow the moon, your calendar slowly drifts, and suddenly your big spring festival is happening in the dead of winter. Actually, the Metonic cycle is a mathematical marvel, where 19 solar years correspond to exactly 235 lunar months. The Antikythera Mechanism had a dedicated spiral dial just to track this, flawlessly synchronizing the sun and the moon to keep the shifting seasons anchored for society.
And here is the true so what factor. The Olympic Games in a machine. You see, this device wasn't just some abstract, theoretical science experiment hidden away in an ivory tower somewhere. It was deeply, deeply tied to everyday human society. The mechanism actively timed the pan-Hellenic festivals, like the Olympics, that occurred every 4 years. It literally linked the massive silent movements of the heavens to the vibrant, noisy, athletic organization of human culture, bringing the fiercely politically divided ancient Greek world together on a shared schedule.
Section 4. The fragility of knowledge. Why did this technology disappear?
For decades, this device was just a haunting mystery, completely calcified in rock. It wasn't until the 21st century that advanced X-ray scans finally let us peer inside the bronze, revealing, get this, a microscopic Greek user manual. This unlocked a breathtaking cross-cultural journey of knowledge. It started centuries BC, with Babylonian astronomers etching centuries of eclipse patterns into clay tablets. Then, this astronomical data traveled over to the Hellenistic period, where Greek mathematicians turned those patterns into geometric models. By the 1st century BCE, brilliant engineers constructed those models out of bronze gears, and then, just silence. The knowledge vanished entirely, until the 21st century, when we finally used digital 3D X-ray scans to reconstruct what had been lost to time.
I really want you to consider this profound realization. The machine was not thousands of years ahead because its creators came from the future. It was thousands of years ahead because the future had not yet learned how much the past already knew. You know, we love to think of technological progress as this neat, straight line going straight from the abacus to the microchip. But this machine, it completely shatters that myth. It shows us that human knowledge doesn't automatically survive. A brilliant tradition of engineering can vanish simply due to a sinking ship, a burned library, a war, or even just a broken bronze machine being melted down for scrap metal.
Which leaves us with this final, incredibly provocative question. If just one ancient analog computer happened to survive simply because it got trapped in a shipwreck at the bottom of the sea, what else has history lost? Really, how many other forgotten workshops, brilliant engineers, and impossible machines are buried beneath the waves, just waiting for us to dive back into the dark?